Yo, so guys, welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to some more conspiracy theories, and this is the 20 biggest conspiracy theories of all time. I want to apologise again. It's a Watch Mojo reaction. I know. It's not everyone's favourite, nor is it mine. But at the end of the day, there's no other channels that do these. I searched this up, and there's no other channels that do these like lists and stuff. So unless I can do reactions fully focused on certain conspiracy theories, which I assume YouTube won't like because it's just how it is. We're probably gonna have to stick with these. And I mean, yeah, the last reaction to the conspiracy theory videos I saw went down quite well, so yeah, that's why I'm doing another. Plus I just find this stuff quite interesting to learn about, and yeah, we're just gonna jump into this. Hopefully going to enjoy. Links are in the description to my Patreon if you want to see some more reactions of mine over the next few days and stuff. But yeah, let's jump into this and see some of these conspiracies.
Number 20, National Hidden Treasure. It's a very poorly kept secret that there's a hidden room behind Mount Rushmore in South Dakota. It's actually true. This has led some to theorize that it houses proof of alien life or treasure. The intent behind the area is anything but sinister, though.
Believe me.
Oh, there's a film about it.
The original sculptor of the monument, Gutzon Borglum, wanted to create something he called the Hall of Records to house the recorded history of the United States for generations to come. Although Borglum only finished a tunnel during his lifetime, his daughter collaborated with the Mount Rushmore Society to build a vault with a visual history of the US told through 16 porcelain enamel panels. It's sealed off and not open to the public. Number 19, Illuminati.
If that ever got opened up, bro, that would be money, man. They would get flipping tourist after tourists. But I guess it's quite cool that they're keeping it shut off. Maybe they'll open it in future or what, but it's quite cool. I do like that. But at the end of the day, I guess we don't actually know what's behind it. Although I would definitely, I would almost 100% say it's not going to be alien life. Illuminati at Denver Airport? What?
At the Denver Airport. The design of the Denver International Airport is certainly unique and a bit, well, strange.
Exactly. Have you heard about the horse? Ugh.
We're talking about a blue horse with glowing red eyes, intense murals, and a gargoyle that greets guests.
Hey, I'm talking to you. Can I borrow some pants?
Oh, and did we mention a time capsule?
This is the most devilish airport I've ever seen. What is going on here?
With a Freemason symbol on the granite seal. Conspiracy theorists argue that the Freemasons have ties to the Illuminati and a new world order. The new airport was dedicated in 1994, and rumors persist to this day about how the area isn't only a hub for passengers and travel, but for the Illuminati and other secret organizations.
Bruh.
Number 18, Shakespeare didn't
in Denver out of everywhere as well. Such a random place to have all that Illuminati stuff going on.
write all his plays.
Could it be true that
I heard this one recently, and when I actually heard it, it kind of made sense. This is one of those ones where I'm kind of like, you know what, it does kind of make sense because I don't know, I could just see this one being true. I'm not saying it is or not, but it's one of those ones that I do sort of think, I mean, it could be true, I don't know.
that the greatest writer in the English language was as fictional as his plays?
Did the most famous playwright of all time even exist? Well, yes, he did. But according to this theory, he didn't write his plays. At least, not all of them. Some people claim that William Shakespeare was just a pen name used by various different writers.
I want to thank my actors. It's great acting. Has brought my words to life.
Then there are others who hold to the
that film?
Oxfordian theory of Shakespeare authorship, which claims that the 17th Earl of Oxford, Edward de Vere, actually wrote the bard's work.
Promise me you'll keep our secret safe, that you won't expose Shakespeare.
These alternative authorship theories have gained some traction due to the lack of biographical information about Shakespeare's life, but are generally disregarded by English historians. Number 17, Lost Cosmonauts.
Are you from another planet? It's Gagarin. Gagarin went into space.
Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin was the first human to journey to outer space. Or was he? According to the Lost or Phantom Cosmonauts conspiracy theory, Gagarin was the first human to survive the journey, but he was not the first sent to space.
Rumors of lost cosmonauts have been around since at least 1965.
Allegedly, the Soviet Union launched at least 2 unsuccessful manned space flights before Gagarin's. However, any information about these flights was concealed from the public because of the ongoing Cold War. Although most of the state's formerly restricted information has become available since the collapse of the USSR, there has been little uncovered to support this particular theory.
While the lost cosmonaut theory itself may not hold up to scrutiny, one thing's for sure. When it comes to Soviet Russia, there's plenty of stuff they don't want you to know.
Number
I wouldn't
16,
bet against it.
Paul is dead. If you're a diehard fan of the Beatles, then you're probably quite...
See, I've heard this one, but I've never understood it because he's literally like, you see him. I think this is just one of those ones where people just... I guess conspiracy theories, it's one of those things where people like to just have a belief in something and be sort of quite... like a belief in something that not many people believe in, so it's quite... I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, as usual. It's quite a small group of people, so they just feel, I don't know, it makes them feel cooler about it. This is one of those ones that I don't get it, because you look at him, it's the same person. Like, what's going on there,
quite
man?
familiar with this conspiracy theory, that Beatles bassist Paul McCartney is actually dead and was replaced in the band with a double.
According to the story, Paul McCartney died on November 9th, 1966, after his car skidded off an icy road. According to the theory, the Beatles replaced him with an imposter, a look-alike named Billy Shears.
Those who believe this theory often claim that the Beatles hid subliminal and backmasked messages in their songs as proof. In songs like Strawberry Fields Forever, there's a line where John Lennon supposedly says, "I buried Paul." Then there's Revolution 9, a song from the band's White Album that, when played backwards, is supposed to say, "Turn me on, dead man." Is it there? Maybe. But spoiler alert, Paul McCartney is very much alive.
I think you've been doing this for longer, than I've even been alive, and you've been doing it so incredibly well. And the fact that you're still here today, in 2013.
Number 15, HIV Aids Created by the CIA. It's human nature to look for someone to blame in horrible situations. The HIV AIDS crisis was just one of those moments in American history.
Some nurses feared this unknown, unnamed disease so much they wouldn't even go near someone with AIDS. The fear was pervasive.
Conspiracy theories persisted that the CIA invented the virus intentionally to attack homosexual and African American communities. Although this wasn't true, it does possess links to a real disinformation campaign propagated by the Soviet Union in the 1980s, known as Operation Infection. The intention was to implicate the United States as purveyors of biowarfare by claiming they'd developed HIV/AIDS in Fort Detrick, Maryland.
It's a crazy allegation printed in a small newspaper. No big deal, right? But fast forward just a couple of years, and look what's happening. The story is spreading.
Today, Operation Infection is seen largely as a way to deflect similar accusations against the USSR over their own biowarfare operations. Number 14, Satanic Panic.
Theory.
In the 1980s, a moral panic swept through the US, spread by now discredited psychological practices and false accusations.
There were terrifying tales of secret satanic cults bent on tormenting and corrupting the young.
Many people became convinced that Satan worshippers were all around them, practicing ritual abuse on hapless victims. A lot of the hysteria came from conservative religious reactions to the popularity of heavy metal music and role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons. The panic led to numerous...
Damn, so I guess, I didn't realise, but I guess rock and roll music, there was a lot of not controversy, but like backlash towards it or whatever when it sort of became popular. I feel like that's the thing with every sort of new genre that pops up. Like when, like, I don't know, hip-hop or whatever, rap, when that sort of first started becoming big, I feel like there was probably a lot of backlash towards it and things that people were throwing at it that just weren't true. Maybe that's just the thing with lots of like new generations. When new generations come, new music comes, and the old generation hates it, so they're like, "Get that out of here. It's bad. Whatever. This, that." So I guess maybe it's just a thing when like the new sort of big genre comes up. I don't know, but it's interesting to know that. I wouldn't have assumed rock and roll was sort of deemed the same way. What was the sort of popular music genre before rock and roll was a thing? I guess like early 60s or early 70s when it sort of became quite big. I don't know. But yeah, what was the genre before that? Jazz, maybe?
Numerous accusations of ritual abuse in daycare centers, culminating in the infamous McMartin preschool trial.
There's never been any proof that there was any kind of satanic ritual abuse or satanic cult activity in a daycare center.
When I first got involved in these cases, I'll be very honest with you, I tended to believe that this was going on. But eventually, the number of cases just kept growing.
Today, it lives on in new forms, such as the far-right QAnon movement, which targets celebrities and Democrats instead.
Well, I don't know much about the movement other than I understand they like me very much.
Number 13, James Earl Ray was framed. The death of civil rights activist Martin Luther King Jr. was a devastating loss that left many questions unanswered. On April 4th, 1968, he was assassinated in a Memphis motel, purportedly by James Earl Ray. However, Ray's motivations have always remained hazy.
Now, there are mixed reports about his motivations. James Earl Ray was certainly a super racist, but it looks like greed may have also played a factor. Now, Ray was under the impression that he was going to be able to collect bounties from a cabal of rich Southerners for killing Dr. King.
This has led to theories that someone else was involved, for example, the FBI, who were running a smear campaign against King. Ray later recanted his confession, leading some to question whether he was even the shooter at all, including King's family. Given the number of enemies King had, we may never know the truth for sure.
Well, I don't know if there's any penalty for extraditing someone fraudulently or not, but I think I can see their legal point where they've got to stick with their story.
Number 12, water fluoridation for mind control.
Guys, how do my teeth look? Pretty good?
I've heard this one. Actually. I definitely have heard this one.
Okay, great.
I always assumed it was for your teeth.
Fluoride in the water might be helping that, but it might also be doing other things.
That's the conspiracy.
Fluoride helps make human teeth stronger, but some people believe that the government is putting fluoride in drinking water for another reason, to sap away our mental strength and control the population.
The Telegraph points out a epidemiological study that was done there. They say fluoride in drinking water may trigger depression and weight gain.
In the 1940s, many conspiracy theorists became convinced that fluoride was part of a communist plot to take over America. Proponents have since claimed that the Nazis used fluoride to pacify people in concentration camps during World War II. While a minority of scientists do oppose water fluoridation, it isn't based on any of these wild claims, which lack any evidence.
Countries and states are going to continue being on board with fluoridation until someone finds damning evidence that they shouldn't be, which in 70 years, no one has yet found.
Number 11, Zionist occupation government conspiracy theory. The idea that a Jewish cabal runs the world goes all the way back to a fabricated document, the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, which outlined a fake plan for global domination. It was a hoax, but anti-Semitism has kept the idea alive. The theory achieved new popularity in the mid-90s, in part thanks to the efforts of the Aryan Nations, a white supremacist group from Idaho.
The hate first blossomed in 1974 when Richard Butler moved to Hayden and established the Aryan Nations World Headquarters. For decades, Butler shared his dream of a white-only homeland with recruits who came to his 20-acre compound.
It comes in many forms, from claiming that Jewish people run the entertainment industry to denying the horrors of World War II. It's a strange but tragically true glimpse into the darkest recesses of the human mind. Number 10, advance warning of Pearl Harbor. The US government has been the target of several conspiracy theories throughout its history, with one of the biggest revolving around Pearl Harbor.
FDR certainly did have a motivation to deliberately withhold vital intelligence from Pearl Harbor.
This theory suggests that Franklin D. Roosevelt knew about the planned Japanese attack in December 1941, but decided not to act because he needed an excuse to get the Americans into the Second World War.
To overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people in their righteous might will win through to absolute victory.
The theory gained some traction because the American public and Congress were overwhelmingly against joining the conflict at the time, but it has largely been dismissed by historians.
Everyone who worked on it at the time has said then and since that we simply were not far enough along to read any of these Japanese naval messages for intelligence.
Number 9, the Earth is flat. The world is of course round, something that even the ancient Greeks figured out. There's plenty of proof. Commercial airline flights, time zones, images from space, and so many more. However, a small but vocal minority of people still believe the Earth is flat. spreading their ideas on social media platforms.
My reality, my senses tell me that the Earth is flat and stationary.
While the Flat
My reality, my senses, come on, you can't judge it off your senses.
Earth Society has flourished online, its first iteration was founded back in 1956 by Samuel Shenton, a sign writer who created his own cosmology, partly based on the Bible. Today, some proponents even argue that Australia doesn't exist. We guess Hugh Jackman really is one hell of an actor. Number 8, the stolen election.
Australia
After Joe
exist.
Biden won the 2020 US election, Donald Trump and allies campaigned to overturn the results.
As everybody saw, we won by historic numbers, and the pollsters got it knowingly wrong. They got it knowingly wrong. We had polls that were so ridiculous, and everybody knew it at the time.
Alleging widespread fraud, Trump claimed that Biden was staging a coup. His legal team filed dozens of lawsuits, which were dismissed, and claimed that voting machines had been rigged.
They were serious about it. So when was this video made? I didn't know it was that recent. Oh, it was a really recent one, so it's quite up to date with certain things that happened there.
Accusation contradicted by hand recounts. Some of Trump's allies even recommended that he suspend the Constitution and declare martial law. QAnon fueled the fires, arguing that the deep state was backing Biden, but that Trump would be re-inaugurated in March 2021.
The movement now leaping from echo chambers of social media to headlines in the news.
The campaign culminated in the 2021 United States Capitol attack, when rioters stormed the Capitol, leaving 5 dead. It was a dark lesson in how...
I don't know if people died from that. I genuinely didn't realize. I remember hearing anyone was killed from it. I just thought they stormed it. I didn't know anyone was killed. God damn.
Deadly disinformation can be. Number 7. Adolf Hitler escaped to Argentina.
It became pretty obvious that the death in the bunker was nothing but, well, fiction. Or maybe somebody died in the bunker, but it wasn't Adolf Hitler.
A number of conspiracy theories are attached to famous figures in history, and Adolf Hitler is no different. With the Allies closing in and the war all but over, Hitler took his own life in his bunker with his wife Eva Braun. British authors Simon Dunstan and Gerard Williams have a different theory about Hitler's end, however. They believe that the Fuhrer didn't actually kill himself, but rather escaped to Argentina with Eva, and body doubles were shot instead.
Prevarrò, perché era un recién neolaureado in historia, de investigar bonariamente la muerte de...
According to their book, Grey Wolf, The Escape of Adolf Hitler, the married couple settled down and had 2 daughters in South America before dying in 1962.
This was during 1947.
Estuvo Hitler ahí, sí. Estuvo 3 días. Eso yo sí. Eso yo, porque mismo los choferes y todo. El padre Mónica también, pero nosotros teníamos que callarlo la boca.
This idea has been widely dismissed by historians, who claim that the theory has no substance.
We got to the age of information where the truth should be out there, so let's get it out. That's what we're trying to do.
Number 6. Roswell and Area 51. Many of us are anxious for more information about life beyond the stars, and some conspiracy theories think we can find answers in the Roswell incident and US Air Force Base Area 51. They believe that an actual flying saucer crash-landed in Roswell, New Mexico back in 1947, and not a surveillance balloon as the US Army claims.
Right away, rumors spread that alien bodies had been found in the spacecraft.
Oh my god, this little Ed or whatever, this alien bit just kills me. It looks so bad.
Rumors spread that alien bodies had been found in the spacecraft.
Roswell is really the ground zero of the UFO phenomenon.
There's also a widespread belief that Area 51 holds the remains of the crashed aliens, as well as alien tech. The theories have gotten traction in part thanks to the fact that Area 51 is a highly classified Air Force facility with the...
I do wonder about Area 51. There is, and I think that's the place where conspiracy theories, you can fully understand. I think anyone can fully understand why there's conspiracy theories about that. Like, there's a lot of people that hate conspiracy theories, right? Or people that just think they're stupid. And there are some really stupid ones. And I'm not one who believes them. I just like hearing them because it's quite funny or interesting to just hear how people will believe certain things. But for sure, I don't think anyone can argue that the conspiracy theories around Area 51 are probably the fairest conspiracy theories out there. Because there's conspiracy theories are a reason. We don't know what's there. We don't have a clue what's at Area 51. So the conspiracy theories are all we have about it. Plus, if no one releases information on it, there's obviously reason to have conspiracy theories, so...
Testing, training, and development that occurs inside kept secret from the public.
50 years after the incident, the Air Force released a report admitting that the wreckage was part of a secret system of atomic espionage. But for real believers, this is just another cover-up.
Number 5. World leaders are lizard people, also known as reptilians.
In simple terms, there is a predator race which take a reptilian form. They're feeding off humanity. They've turned humanity into a slave race.
Who runs the world? Lizards. At least according to English former footballer and sports broadcaster David Icke. After he visited a psychic...
How do you go from a footballer to this? Like, you've had a big switch up in your life. God damn.
He decided that he was the son of the...
But he's like a huge conspiracy theorist now. Until I think he got cut off from everything, like all social medias. But, like... It's just a wild change, like turn of events in your life. Like, how have you gone from that to that?
Godhead predicted natural disasters that never happened, dove headfirst into anti-Semitic conspiracies, and most famously, proclaimed that the world was being run by shape-shifting lizards.
I have talked to hundreds and hundreds of people all over the world. I've been to more than 40 countries researching this, who have told me the same basic recurring story of seeing people often in positions of power, but not always, change from a human into a reptilian form and then go back again. Sometimes it's for a few seconds.
Many of these reptiles are supposedly people in positions of power, including the entire royal family. They are 7 to 12 feet tall and come from a different planet. Number 4. Global warming is a hoax.
It's a statistical anomaly. It's meaningless, and they actually admit this in previous NASA press releases, but they're not announcing that today.
A scientific consensus around climate change began to form back in the 1980s, in part thanks to discoveries by researchers working for fossil fuel companies. Since then, fossil fuel companies have spent billions of dollars on climate-related lobbying and have been accused by activists of manufacturing doubt about scientific research.
The problem is this thin layer of atmosphere is being thickened by all of the global warming pollution that's being put up there.
Today, the scientific consensus that human activities are warming the climate is greater than 99%, but that hasn't stopped conspiracy theorists from arguing that it's all a trick, one that involves basically all the world's climate scientists playing along.
According to climate change skeptic Myra Nabel, global warming is a hoax created by the European Union to damage the US economy.
The theory
Why does he sound like he's being held at gunpoint?
Theory takes various forms, with some arguing that it's a liberal plot to introduce socialism, others that it's linked to a bid for global dominance, and others that China is behind it all. Number 3.
Yeah, we're not going to get into that conspiracy theory. We all know about that silly conspiracy
assassination of John F. Kennedy. The murder of the 35th U.S. president by former Marine Lee Harvey Oswald in 1963 shocked the nation and left imaginations running wild. Even today, questions continue to linger. Did Lee Harvey Oswald act alone, or was there another shooter? Did someone put him up to it? Why did nightclub owner Jack Ruby kill Oswald while he was in police custody?
When Jack Ruby killed Lee Harvey Oswald, there went our ability to question the one man who pulled the trigger.
What were Ruby's connections to organized crime? These questions and more have obsessed historians, true crime buffs, and ordinary citizens alike, and if there was a conspiracy involved, we may never know.
We do know this. That day marked the end of an era. The end, as a grieving Mrs. Kennedy suggested, of Camelot.
Number 2. The moon landing was faked. It seems too strange for words, but the theories are there. Did the United States...
See, this one, there was a little point in time, I remember in college, I brought it up to teach. I didn't bring it up, I don't know what happened, but it was mentioned. And I was sort of in my head, there was a brief time when I was like, how would we have actually reached the moon? Like, because I find it so mind-blowing that we could even get out into space and stuff. And because we haven't done it for so long, like, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just one of those things that I don't know how it would have been possible 50 years ago, and then we're just not doing it now. But I do think it's real. It's just one of those things that I don't even think about the sets or like the wires, or people think it's on a set and stuff. I don't even think that. I just can't comprehend that we've even managed to get into space, let alone to the moon, and to broadcast it in the 1970s. Or that was my mindset back then. But you can't not say it's true. I mean, it's just weird though. Even now, I just can't comprehend how we got there this long ago. Or in general, it just blows my mind. But I do think it's real. It's just one of those ones that just in my mind, I was just like, I can't fathom it, you know?
It's fake
Or I
its
couldn't.
famed moon landing back in 1969? Some people think so.
You hear about the fact that the landing was actually done in a television studio.
And there was just a big black background with, like, you know, fake stars and stuff. It's the flag being planted on the moon facing one way and the shadow of the man being the other way.
I mean, I've heard that maybe the terrain that was seen on the video wasn't accurate, the walking wasn't accurate.
To the point where such ideas were dramatized in the 1978 thriller Capricorn 1, as well as the 2015 comedy Moonwalkers. The latter expands upon a unique theory that famed director Stanley Kubrick was hired to film the footage that would eventually be part of the Apollo mission. This idea is thought to have been tied to Kubrick's 1968 film 2001: A Space Odyssey and its groundbreaking special effects. Of course, this is all despite rock-solid evidence to the contrary, including astronaut tracks and American flags still planted on the moon's surface.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to
I'm good.
Pride for occasional notifications.
A new world order, using organized religion as a means of controlling the masses. At the core of Project Bluebeam is the establishment of a global New Age religion.
In a sense, it's a soothing thought, because it makes everything so simple. A complicated world full of rival factions with different interests is really run by just one cabal who's behind them all.
This world is mine for the taking. Make me king as we move toward a new world order.
The New World Order idea looks like a theory of everything, stitching together various theories into one all-encompassing framework. But at its heart is the idea that a small circle of powerful elites are pulling all the strings, aiming to establish a totalitarian world government.
Large groups of people can be held in check by belief systems given to them by a tiny elite, which keeps a core of knowledge to itself.
It's a neat way to explain real trends today, such as mass surveillance, income inequality, and a global shift away from democracy.
Who stands above the military, royalty, and above celebrities? They do. Who directs the press, the Fed, and the universities? They do.
Naturally, the Illuminati and/or the Freemasons are involved, probably flying back and forth out of Denver Airport.
Wait, I swear I've seen that. Wait, let me go back. Conspiracy theory. I searched conspiracy theories. I swear I've literally seen that bit. Have I watched this video before? Or have they just copied this video? And just put it in a different order.
Allen Ginsberg. It's one of the dark
into these apartments.
Unthinkable when it occurred.
Because people have got.
I swear I've seen that before. Wait, have I? I'm confused now. I swear I've seen that last one literally that full bit in another video. I don't even know now, maybe. I don't know. Hopefully you enjoyed this reaction. If you want more of this stuff, let me know in the comments. I've had a brain fart here, but yeah, until next time, like, subscribe.